Hi first graders, I'm glad you're here for another reading lesson today. As always, you'll need something to write on and something to write with, paper or journal and pencil, pen, whatever you like. You also need at the end of the lesson a nonfiction book, and I will assign one for you on Epic, but there are lots on Epic, or maybe you have one in your home. We're going to talk today about how authors write books to give information, and we'll be talking about Best Foot Forward, Milk from Cow to Carton, and What Do You Do with a Tale Like This? Best Foot Forward and What You Do with a Tale Like This do have clickable links on the sharing slide to a YouTube read aloud, not me on these ones. Let's get started. Here's the slide that we'll be doing together today. Our first book is Best Foot Forward, Exploring Feet, Flippers, and Claws. I'm just going to read a couple of pages in this book, first graders. We have looked at it before. While I'm reading, I want you to think about what the author is wanting you to know. A tiger's with the soft cushioned pads on its feet. A tiger can creep up very quietly on its prey and then click, out come the claws. Animals have very different feet depending on whether they are big or small, go fast or slow, or travel on the ground, in water, or high in the tops of trees. Let's turn to the next page. Keep thinking about what the author wants you to know as you read this book. A leaf-tailed gecko's feet. The gecko hunts for insects high up in the trees. Animals that live in trees need feet for walking and climbing. Okay, first graders. Some of the information that the author gives in this book are that tigers have cushioned feet. What other information did we see in that book? Our next book is Milk from Cow to Carton. This book talks about how milk gets from the cow to the cafeteria in a carton or your refrigerator. After a cow swallows all her cud, so the cud, remember, is the food that comes back into her mouth after it goes into the first stomach. After a cow swallows all her cud, stomachs number 3 and 4 digest the food even better. Then part of the food is made into milk. The rest is nourishment for the cow. A cow begins to make milk when she has a calf. The milk is food for the newborn calf. A cow has milk even after her calf needs it. Once the calf starts eating grass, the cow's milk can become food for us. Cows produce lots of milk. A healthy, contented cow can give 30 quarts a day. That is 7 gallons, first graders. Can you imagine having 7 gallons of milk in your refrigerator? That takes up a lot of space. So this author wants us to know that a cow begins to make milk when she has a calf. That's one of the things. Our last book today is What Do You Do with a Tail Like This? But we're not actually going to talk about tails, we're going to talk about noses. What do you do with a nose like this? What do you suppose the author is going to talk about on the next page? Ooh, if you're a platypus, you use your nose to dig in the mud. If you're a hyena, you find your next meal with your nose. If you're an elephant, you use your nose to give yourself a bath. If you're a mole, you use your nose to find your way underground. If you're an alligator, you breathe through your nose while you're hiding in the water. One of the things that this author wanted us to know was that an elephant uses its nose to bathe itself. Let's take a look at the journal today. So here's my journal, and the date is 4/22. For you, it might be a different day. And for this, we're going to look at light. It helps us see. So this book is a nonfiction book about light. And I chose this book because this is the kind of science we're talking about right now. So I will assign this book to you, and you can read through it yourself. Back to the journal, you might write something like, the book I read today was called Light. This book shows all kinds of light and how it helps us see. Don't forget, first graders, your journal may not look exactly like mine, and that's perfectly okay. All right, go find a nonfiction book, either in your home or on Epic, or you can look at the one that I've assigned to you. Find something in there that's interesting, or tell me why that author has written that book and what that author wants you to know after you've read that book. I'm glad you came today. I'll see you again.